Welcome back to my Frisco layout. Just wanted to give you guys a quick update on some good news about these Intermountain locomotives that I've been having trouble with the MRC decoders. I decided that I wanted to give you a new video. Yesterday I figured out how to solve the issue that I've been having, and I did fix Frisco locomotive number 5047, which is an Intermountain FP7A, and I'm going to fix 5050 in front of all of you, just so that you know how to fix it yourself if you do run into this issue. Now, I took a trip recently out to Phoenix, Arizona for business, and I had a little extra time out there, and I found a new friend out there. I like to go to different hobby shops in different areas across the United States, and I found a place that specialized in DCC applications, both installations, problem shooting, and they were big proponents of JMRI's Decoder Pro software. So I met a gentleman out there. His name was Jack Baer, B-A-E-R. And his name of his company was Litchfield Station. Now, he didn't pay me anything. He doesn't even know that I'm doing this, and maybe I'll surprise him with it later. But he is honestly one of the most kindest, trustworthy, nicest men that I've ever talked to. He's not trying to make a dollar on you. He seems honestly, genuinely eager to help you, to try to promote our hobby of model railroading. And he specializes in DCC, and since I had issue with these Intermountain locomotives, he kind of shared what we might do to help me out. Instead of sending them to MRC, as MRC suggested that we do. Just want to let you know that the 5050 still has the issue, and I'm going to put the what we're going to do is we're going to, if I can find my power cab, we're going to take the throttle step, which right now is at 0 and you're sitting at idle. We're going to take it up to 28. And that's wide open throttle. You can see with this locomotive, once again, I still don't have any control over the throttle, the motor control. So what he suggested that I do, and I'm going to take it back down to 0. What he suggested that I do, instead of trying to use NCE's power cab to program this locomotive, I should go to JMRI's Decoder Pro. And he sold me something called a USB interface that allows me to hook my Surface tablet up to the NCE power cab, and then once again connected to my program track, and I can now talk to all my locomotives. And I'm pretty good at talking with locomotives, so I eventually figured out how to get this one to run. So let's go ahead and take you into and try to fix this guy. So you can see my Surface is set up. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to and launch JMRI. And you can see I'm just starting now to load my consist, or not my consist, but load my roster up. That's my DCC roster. And you can see 5047 is finally fixed. I fixed it last night. So let's go ahead and add a new locomotive. I have to apologize, I shake kind of bad, so I'm trying to figure out how to avoid shaking to keep you guys from getting sick. I went up to and selected new locomotive, And after selecting new locomotive, this is going to be terrible. Let's see if I can move down to here. Stop that noise for just a second. I went to new locomotive, and then I'm going to go to read type from decoder. Now, you can see that the locomotive is clicking, it is communicating, and all sorts of different choices come up for what decoder is installed in this locomotive. Now, unfortunately, we happen to have MRC N1833 decoder installed in this locomotive, but the only choice that we have in N scale, you can see, is an N1827. So what I did was I went ahead and selected N1827 because it was the closest choice, and I said go ahead and open. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to set the long, and I'm going to set it to 50-50, and I'm going to write to the locomotive. So we're going to change his number to 50-50. Now you can see it. Sound is back on. Instead of having the stock active address of 3, we have a long address of 50-50 now in the locomotive. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the comprehensive programmer, and I just want to see what's in this locomotive. So I'm going to fill out this information later, but for now let's just read all sheets. And basically, by reading all sheets, what it's doing is it's reading every CV. Excuse me. It's reading every CV, and it will populate all of the tabs that you see at the top: the function map, lights, analog controls, consist, advanced, sound, sound level, CV, speed table, everything up at the top, all of these tabs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause it and give it time to go ahead and read that, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, now we're fixed, and I also am propping my hand on my father's hard hat, so hopefully that works a little bit better. But you can see now it's read all of the tabs, so I can go up to, find my mouse, I can go up to function map, select it, I can go to lights, normal headlights, consist. Everybody kept telling me to put the advanced consist in 0. It is in 0. It still didn't work. It won't work right now. I go to basic speed controls, and I suspect this is an issue. This locomotive is actually set differently than the other locomotive. 5047 had a start voltage of 0 and a top voltage of 0. That doesn't quite seem correct to me. But what I did to fix the other locomotive is I went to speed table, and I found the default speed table in, but you'll notice it says use speed table right here is off. So what I did was I decided to use the speed table, and then after I did that, I went back to roster entry, and I said write changes on all sheets, and the ID is duplicate. So what I'm going to have to do is I am going to have to change the ID. Bear with me for just a second. So I'm going to make this S L S F 50-50 FP7A. Road name SLSF. Number obviously 50/50. Manufacturer, Intermountain. Model is FP7A. And then what I'm going to do is write changes on all sheets. And I'm going to go back to the speed table. And I'm going to write change on sheets. Probably didn't have to do that, but just as a belt and suspenders kind of thing, we're going to do that. And then I'm going to file. Excuse me. I'm not very good at this. I apologize. I've only used it 5 or 6 times, so I'm just now starting to learn it. Roster entry. I'm going to go ahead and save to roster. So hopefully this will work. If we go down to the locomotive, hopefully JMRI Decoder Pro worked for us here. So I go back to my NCE power cab. I select loco 50/50. Sound works. Headlights work. And it runs. Try a different direction. So you can see we were able to fix it by not using NCE Pro Cab to write to the MRC decoder, but letting not using NCE Power Cab to program the locomotive. What we ended up doing was using JMRI's Decoder Pro to program this locomotive, and I use the speed table, and everything seems to be well now with both 50/47 and 50/50. So now all I have to do is put the couplers back in the front pilot, and this locomotive and 50/47 will be ready to run on the roster. Thanks, folks, and I appreciate you listening, and this is just a follow-up video to another video that I'll post down into the bottom. And if you guys get a chance, go to www.litchfieldstation.com. Thanks.